This unit of lessons is created for a third grade class studying basic map skills in social studies. This lesson was created to serve as an introduction to the students for an upcoming unit on the specific continents and oceans of the world. These lessons are to be carried out over the course of 4 days. The content covers topics regarding the purposes and uses of a map, the compass rose and cardinal directions, using a map key, and a broad introduction to the oceans and continents. This content is presented through various pedagogical methods of direct instruction, collaborative group work with partners in small groups, rotating through center activities, as well as some independent practice. The elements of technology utilized in this lesson includes the Promethean board, individual student laptops, blog entries, instructional videos and tutorials, and interactive websites. However, during the teaching of these skills over the 4 days, 2 barriers or distractions occurred. One was students staying on task during center time, and 2, the availability of laptops from the library with a sufficient wireless connection in the classroom. 2 out of the 4 days of these lessons focused primarily on the students rotating through 4 centers. I wanted to provide them with the freedom and engagement in completing educational tasks. But for some students, especially those with attention deficit disorders, this was not always the best learning environment. Additionally, I was stationed at one of the centers at a constant rate, and it sometimes became difficult. I was there to be an active participant in the Literacy Center, reading Joan Sweeney's Me on the Map to the students, and helping them with what I anticipated to be the most difficult center in creating the flipbook. However, then I wasn't always able to monitor and guide the other groups as efficiently as I would have liked to ensure that learning was truly taking place. While it was motivating to see the students become so excited about utilizing these new tools and websites that I had implemented, because they were different from what their regular teacher's routine was, their excitement sometimes translated into becoming off task, silly, and distracting others in the center. One example of this was at the Promethean board. While students are encouraged to have one student only controlling the pen, while their teammates could help them in answering questions, I would look over and all of the students would be up at the board at once trying to write, sometimes arguing over the pen. And though I had reviewed and explained the etiquette of the Promethean board, it seemed as though they still easily forgot their rules. The other issue was that one day, the laptops that we were to utilize from the library cart were having difficulty connecting to the wireless connection within the classroom. I set up the laptops over at the Student Center, but they were not able to access the sites that the center needed because the browser could not be displayed on some of them. Therefore, we had to wait for the technology coordinator to come in and attempt to fix it, because myself and the regular ed teacher could not solve it. This obviously caused some dishevelment and distraction in student learning while they were forced to wait. Though I provided them with an anchor activity to complete during the wait, they were still eager to utilize the technology with the laptops. Luckily, the technician was able to rectify the problem in a minimal amount of time, and the students could continue learning. Despite those few issues, I am confident that the students not only enjoyed the various ways in which the content was presented to them, but that they truly learned. I can conclude this by reviewing the students' L columns in the KWL chart they had completed on maps. In the L, or learned column, students listed main concepts or key words that they had learned from the lessons. I was pleased to see that nearly all of the responses were on point and accurate. So from that, I created this Wordle, which represents those main concepts and words that the students provided in that column. As you can see, words such as compass, places, north, south, east, key, and west, the largest letters here, are the words that the students responded to most frequently, which is in alignment with one of the objectives of learning the compass road and cardinal directions. This student-generated visual also served as a very valuable review before the students took their post-test on the last day. The students also completed a MAPS magazine, which was a workbook for students to complete independently on some of the main skills that they had learned. I collected and reviewed the map magazines and were able to see how they completed this compass rose, how accurately they followed directions in locating the continents and oceans on a map, and how efficiently they could locate items on a map using a map key. The students' Kid blog entries allowed me to informally assess the concepts that they had learned throughout the lessons, specifically responding to the two main prompts regarding the purpose of a map and what components of a map help them read one. It was encouraging to read the responses because most were very well written and full of the correct content I was looking for. Additionally, the students' center work, such as the Me on the Map circle flipbooks and their personalized maps, allow me to see that learning took place through project-based assessments. Both projects represented that the students knew how to use a map and how to create a map with the essential components. Finally, I am able to conclude that learning took place by formally assessing the students on the post-test about maps, especially when comparing it to their pre-test score of that same exact test from the previous week prior to these lessons occurring. Through this variety of informal and formal assessment, I am confident that students adequately achieved learning basic map skills. Thank you for watching.